Is it truly possible to get perfection in just one in-game year of Stardew Valley? We're going to put it to the test. Hello everybody, this is GamerGar and welcome to a new Stardew Valley series. There's just one purpose to this series, and that is to achieve perfection as quickly as possible. Now when it comes to getting perfection, we all know that normally you need to enter year 2 to get Kent, but because of the 1.6 updates, there's now multiple routes we can take around that, allowing us to actually reach the summit in the first year. So for the first couple of days, we are going to prioritise a fairly good balanced playstyle. We're not going to be attempting to max out all the skills or make as much money as possible. We're going for game completion. So once we've planted some crops on the farm, we're just going to run around here, open up the trash cans. The field snack was very nice. It's always nice to get those very early in the game. We're going to head down to the beach and pick up some forageables. No artifact in the beach though. We're going to go to Pierre now. We're basically going to purchase between 1 and 2 of every single crop he has, except the bean starter. Why didn't we get the bean starter? Because I forgot. I somehow just skipped past it. But not to worry, within the next day or two we will go back to Pierre. I will absolutely pick up those lovely beans. We're going to whack away all the weeds and attempt to make a nice little path so we can go from the top of the farm right down to the south and out to Cindersap Forest without getting caught in too many rocks and things like that. We're going to pick up the forageables in Cindersap Forest along with all the spring onions. Then we're going to head back to the farm with all these mixed seeds. We're going to plant them. We're then going to eat all of these lovely spring onions. We'll get a fairly good energy top up from these. Once this is done, we're going to basically mine rocks until our character passes out. We have 0 gold. We already got a skill up today, so it doesn't matter if we pass out from exhaustion. We'll start the next day with 0 money penalty and full energy. Level 1 foraging at the end of the day, which was nice. The next day starts with the watering of crops. We still have 0 gold at the moment because we didn't sell anything. Now once all of these crops are watered up, we are going to go down to Willy and we're going to pick up the rod. But the first thing we're going to do is get all these hoeing spots that we can see. The carrot seeds are very important. If we want to obtain perfection, we will have to ship 1 of every crop in the game at least. So the carrots also count. When we got down to the beach, we picked up our first artifact of the challenge, the anchor. Now, the sooner we can get all of the minerals and artifacts to Gunther, the better. Because one of the things you need for perfection is all of the star drops. Now, we did a lot of fishing today. It's also worth noting too that I am doing no day resets. So if I don't get the fiberglass rod today, we're just moving on. But we end up not getting the fiberglass rod because the fish that we were catching, they just weren't selling for enough money. The flounders are probably one of the best fishes you can catch down here, but we didn't get any flounders for the majority of the day. We will, however, grab the 250 gold from handing in the first artifact to Gunther, which was a nice prize to get. We're then going to talk to a lot of the Stardew Valley NPCs around Pelican Town because the more NPCs you talk to, the higher chance you have of getting help wanted quests from them. And we want to get lots of help wanted quests so we can get lots of prize tickets and lots of goodies. We also get friendship points when we talk to the NPCs, and that is something that we need to think about now at the very start of this challenge instead of towards the end. So we done a lot more fishing today up by the lake. We got very lucky actually, and we got bubbles, and the bubbles lasted for quite some time. So we took full advantage of this and I ended up putting up a huge amount of fish. Now we ended up getting a few fishing levels today, which was good. We got a fishing skill of 3, almost a fishing skill of 4, and we made 999 gold from selling a few bits and bobs, bullheads, carps, chubs, and a clam of course. The next day starts with getting the furnace recipe from Clint. We can now craft furnaces. That's going to be vital for game progression. After collecting the forageables here, we're going to do some fishing. Now we will attempt to get our hands on some catfish today because catfish are extremely profitable, but we also want to get max level skills as quickly as possible because I feel if we want to get perfection in year 1, a lot of that is going to come down to how quickly we can get mastery because a lot of the mastery perks are extremely overpowered. We're going to send a few fish to Willy and now we're going to pick up the fiberglass rod. With this, we can attach bait to it and that will dramatically increase the fishing bite rate. So it's way more profitable to fish with that. We're going to donate more artifacts into Gunther and we're going to get him to break open even more geodes. We're getting very lucky with obtaining geodes from the fishing treasure chests. So Clint's breaking all these open for us. Now, I purchased some copper ores off Clint today just to make a furnace. I was trying to get a pickaxe upgrade today before Clint closed, but we just didn't have the luck. But there's still no harm in making an early furnace because we can smelt bars as we fish. And because we only have one furnace, it'll save a little bit of time as we smelt bars every, a couple of in-game hours. Now I was hoping to get a few more copper ores today from fishing, and I just got 6 more there so we can smelt those, but unfortunately I don't get huge amounts of it today, so we're not going to get 5 copper bars today, we're not going to get to an upgrade, but it doesn't really matter. We can still get to an upgrade in the next day or two. Now I have done another playthrough many years ago where I almost got perfection in 1 year. I basically done everything except be Frank Clint before the 1.6, so I'm actually quite confident in my ability to pull off perfection now in year 1 using some of the 1.6 updates. So it's going to be very interesting to see now in the next couple of weeks and months the techniques we use in order to make that happen. We're picking up Help Wanted quest here as well. Sebastian was looking for the topaz. I mean, we'll try to get one. There's a chance we could get it from a fishing chest, but if we don't, we simply don't. So we're just going to enter into the saloon here. We're going to talk to everyone in the saloon just to get that introductions quest completed. We're going to go back to the farm after that, and we're going to mine up some stones to trigger the level 1 mining. It's always nice to go into the mines on day 5 with a mining skill of at least 1 so you can make those cherry bombs. The proficiencies are also very important, because the higher the mining skill, the less energy we use when we swing the pickaxe. And of course, that's vital when it comes to making early progression in the mines, because energy always seems to be a bottleneck, especially for me. I got lots more spring onions today, and we got the fishing skill up to 5, which was nice. Fish worth 25% more, that's a no-brainer. We picked up the mining skill too, and we can now make cherry bombs. Cherry bombs are fairly easy to make. You just need some copper ores and some coal, and you can make cherry bombs. The next day starts with the watering of crops. We're then going to run down to Sunset Forest, pick up some more forageables. That gave us the forage skill of 2, which was nice. We got even more spring onions today. Spring onions are just so handy for energy early on. We're going to make some wild seeds. Now I made it for a couple of reasons. The main reason was we need to accumulate enough gifts and we need to do it quickly. And the spring wild seeds will give lots of enough gifts: horseradishes for Krobus, leeks for George, and of course daffodils for Sandy in the desert. So there's a lot of reasons why we want to accumulate lots of spring seeds during the month of spring. We're going to sell some more fish to Willie, bringing us back up to almost 2200 gold. We're going to take a look at the Help Wanted quests. Clint was looking for 10 iron ores, a little bit unlucky again with the Help Wanted quests. Iron ores are something we can't freely access at the moment, but there's a chance we might be able to get them from fishing chests, but still, a lot of it's down to RNG. After talking to Maru, we finally completed the introductions quest. We're going to get the backpack upgrade now, the first one, for 2000 gold, because having the extra inventory slots makes a big difference, especially when we're pulling up tons of fish in the early days. Now we ended up getting lots of fish today, and there's a couple of reasons why we're prioritising fishing at the moment. It's because it's just a great money maker and there isn't a whole lot else to do. We're waiting for the mines to open up. Now we got fishing all the way up to 7 today, which was great. The next day I got cookies off the mother, which was really nice. We were billed 12 gold from Harvey, which was very, very small. So that's why it's always good to spend the money as you get it. Don't leave it accumulate unless you're saving for something specific. And right now we're not really saving for anything. If we get money, we'll either get a tool upgrade, or we might get some crops, or we might get something else. We're only on the 5th after all. Speaking of the 5th, the mine's open today. Let's take a look at Help Wanted quests. Ghost was looking for the refined quartz, that's easy enough. We're going to get Clint to break open all of these geodes. And we do get a lot of minerals from them, so we can give all of these now into Gunther. And some of the early prizes you get from Gunther are very nice. You know, for example, the cauliflower seeds, you get a lot of those from the first reward. We can plant all those to make a pretty good profit. I ended up getting 4 additional iron ores from a trash can. That was enough to actually complete the quest for Clint. You don't even need to have the iron ores on you. You just have to collect 10, regardless of the method, and that would be a quest completed for good old Clint. So we're going to get a lot more gold there for the quests. It's small gold at the moment, but you know what? It does make a difference in the early days. I finally got around to getting the bean starter off here. I'm just going to get one because it's a regrowable crop. I was checking out the saplings as well. They're quite expensive, but the saplings are something we will have to get our hands on sooner rather than later, because we need to think about all of the items you need to craft all the recipes in the game. These are all the things that you have to think about from day one if you want to pull off perfection. Now, we can always get Fizz later on from the George Core, and we can buy, you know, some sort of perfections off him, but it's very expensive, and you have to ask yourself the question, can you make that much money in the first year where you can actually buy all of the perfections off Fizz? I don't think you can't. So we will try to get as much natural progression as possible. And hopefully there'll only be a couple of percentages left that we'll have to use this for. That's going to be the general tactic. Now, we entered the mines today with the rusty sword. Unfortunately, we didn't get any sort of great luck. We didn't get, the broken trident or Neptune's glaive or any sort of fancy rings. So we're coming in here with just the basic tools, including the basic pickaxe. But you know what? It's not the end of the world. If I don't pick up a good weapon by the time I get to the mid layer of the mines, we'll just go back and farm some bugs and get the insect head. It's not the end of the world, really. We are going to farm up a lot of the copper ores that we see here so we can start getting some tool upgrades done properly. When I got down to floor 10, I got the leather boots, which was nice. We're now going to continue because it's still early days and it's only just 7 PM, so we have a good few hours left. It would be nice to get down to floor 20 today before we call it a day and head back to the farm. Now, the duggies are really nice. They give cherry bombs occasionally. We're going to take all those cherry bombs and use them wisely. Something very interesting happened on floor number 14 here. I got swarmed with flies, and I mean swarmed beyond belief. It's quite rare that this many flies would actually come out of the shadows and attack me. Now, I didn't run away from this. I looked at this as an opportunity to get a lot of combat XP and potentially get maybe an ancient seed, because I have a chance to drop those, but it's very small. I didn't get the ancient seed. I did get the dwarf scroll level 4, and that was very nice to get that early on. Sometimes people find, it problematic to get that scroll, so it's always nice to get that before the others. I also picked up a nice new weapon, the wood club. Because of this, we won't have to go farm the insect head, we can just continue. It's a hammer type weapon, which means we can slam it into the ground and hit enemies multiple times with it, and it has a pretty good base attack power. It will do the job for, I'd say, maybe 50% of our progress through the mines before we have to swap it out for something better. So for now, we're going to use that club, and we're going to pave our way to perfection. So we passed out in the mines, got past floor 20, got a couple of skill ups. I sold a lot of stuff today as well. I made a total of 5,283 gold. Most of that came from the fishies that we pulled up the previous day. Chubs, carps, bullheads, largemouth basses, and other bits and bobs. We have some mining stuff in there as well. And a lot of that stuff has to be sold anyway for perfection. There's a lot of stuff you have to ship off, to get those percentages. Today was Saturday, which meant that the forageables would have maximised down by the beach before they reset into the Sunday. So we're going to cut down all these trees to amass a total of 300 pieces of wood. We're also getting good foraging XP for this too, so that was nice. I hauled up a prehistoric rib from the ground, which was pretty cool. So we're heading down to the museum first of all. We're going to donate all of the minerals and artifacts that we've come across. Now, if we donate enough of these to Gunther, he will give us the key to the swords. It would be nice to get the Krobus sooner rather than later. We're also going to pay Clint a visit and upgrade our pickaxe. We didn't really need to upgrade it right now, but because I had the funds and because I had the bars, I said, you know what, let's just get it done. Clint is going to break open even more geodes today. We just picked up a thunder right there, and we end up getting a slate and a few other bits and bobs. And all of these items will be given in to our good friend Gunther as well. If he already has the mineral, we'll just sell it and make a profit that way. We're going to get the 9 cauliflower seeds now, and we're going to plant those back on the farm. But first, we're going to run down to the beach, and we are going to hoe up all of the spots we can and collect all of the forageables. But first, let's fix up the bridge. We just needed 300 pieces of wood to fix that, and we were blessed with a lot of forageables, including the very precious sea urchin. We can use that to make a bait maker later on, and once the bait maker is made, we can basically choose what fish we want to pull up for the whole day. So that is going to greatly maximize fishing profits. For the rest of the day, we're putting up more fish. If you're wondering why I'm not targeting catfish, why I'm up in the lake area instead, it's because it's much easier to get perfect catches up here, and I'm all about skid ups right now, instead of, making overall profits. The largemouth basses aren't nothing to snuff at anyway, they sell for pretty good money. Now, we got very lucky later on, and this is a very rare event. This is something I'd never get. A fairy visited our farm, and she is going to dramatically increase the growth rate of a lot of these crops. So we're going to get to harvest a lot of these crops either tomorrow or in the next few days, which was really nice. That means we get to pick up an early cauliflower, potato, and other bits and bobs. Level 3 foraging was essential as well because we can make the cookout kit, and we got level 8 fishing. When I woke up, I saw a crow fly off and destroy one of the crops. That reminded me I need to make a scarecrow. So we're going to absolutely make a scarecrow, and that will deter all of the crows from coming back again. We had the mats to make that, and we're going to put it down right here, just to get the best coverage. If you're wondering what all those green blocks are, all mods are listed in the description. That is the UI info suite 2. We picked up a book of power. This is our first one. Jack be nimble, Jack be thick. a permanent +1 to defense. You can only get that from hoeing spots, so it's really nice to get it. We also visited the wizard, and he is going to teach us the magic of the Junimos so we can interact with the community center bundles. I still haven't made up my mind if I'm going to go the community center route or the Georgia route. I think, to get the best chance of perfection, the Georgia route would make sense, because that would allow us to get into Ginger Island super early, so we can focus down those golden walnuts and other bits and bobs, but we'll see how we progress. Now, it was Mary Lewis's birthday today, and we got quite lucky with the travelling merchant. We picked up the hot pepper. It was 900 gold, but it's worth it, because it's a loved gift for Lewis, and it jumped him right up to 3 hearts out of 10. So that's very important. We also completed the quest, How to Win Friends. We're now going to go back down to the beach and we're going to pull up some fishies. I was focusing on sardines as well to make some dish of the seas very soon. Managed to get a diamond with a couple of emeralds in one treasure chest. That was really nice. Now I'm actually going to sell those because I need a little bit more money right now. And for the rest of the day we're just pulling up more fishies. The reason why we spend so much time down there is because we also need to think about the fishing collection. In order to get perfection, you need to capture every fish in the game. So, we just gotta be versatile. We made almost 9,000 gold today, primarily from selling fish and a few other bits and bobs. The next day, we're going to go into the community centre and we're going to donate all of the forageables to complete the spring foraging bundle. That rewards us with some spring wild seeds, which is very nice. And then we're going to go to the pantry and we're going to give in the parsnip, the green bean, the cauliflower and the potato to complete the spring's crop bundle. The reward, 20 pieces of speed grow. I actually sell the speed grow to be honest because I just needed money. We picked up a help wanted quest for Elliot, and because we have over 12,000 gold on us right now, we're going to purchase the iridium rod. It's always nice to get that early in the challenge so you have it for the rest of the game. We're going to make some hash browns, then we're going to make some dish of the seas, and we're going to go and fight the legend today. But first, let's go to Clint and get our copper pickaxe. Now we had 4,500 gold and we had some copper bars, so we handed in our axe to Clint to get upgraded to a copper axe. It was now time to fight the legend. Now this honestly was a very easy legend compared to some of the others you can get. RNG was on our side for this one. It didn't spurt around too much and I was able to nab it there without too much hassle. Once we picked up the legend we went back down to Clint and he started processing more geodes for us. The reason why I'm focusing so much on the museum right now is because I don't want to get screwed over later on in the challenge when I realise I'm missing something very specific and you can only get it from a very specific place. So the more effort I put into the museum now, the less I have to worry about it later on in the challenge. Because the last thing we want is to get caught out by 1 or 2 artifacts and they're just not popping up for us. If we can isolate those artifacts much sooner rather than later, we'll have the rest of the year to come up with tactics in order to get them. Or go to, very specific spots every single day and look for hoeing spots and look for other things that we can use to get those artifacts. So that's why we're going to the museum so much, to give in artifacts and minerals. So we're doing more progression in the mines there. We made it down to floor 40, which was nice, got the slingshot. We're now just running along trying to make more progression. We got a couple of skid-ups, but look what I got the next day. I picked up another Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Thick. Now, if we activate this, we just get some combat XP, just 100. But you know what? That was enough to get me up to level 2 combat, which was really nice. We're then going to hoe up the ground. We're going to make way for more mixed seeds. I might decide to expand on our crops later on. I'll see how we're going though. I got a seaweed on the beach today. This is incredibly rare. Unfortunately, we don't get foraging XP for picking up the seaweed. I gave Willie a leek as part of a help wanted quest, and I got a prize ticket there because that was the 3rd help wanted quest that I completed. We're also going to go to Clint, and you guessed it, Clint is going to process more geodes for us. There's also a chance we can get a prismatic shard out of a geode. Now look, it's incredibly rare. I don't even know if you can get it out of regular geodes, but you can definitely get it out of omni geodes. But the more geodes we crack open, the better. So we're definitely off in the right direction here when it comes to donating stuff to the museum. Now I'm kind of half thinking about if I should go all out and attempt to get into the Desert Festival by day 15. I will play it by ear. At the end of the day, this is all about perfection. The Desert Festival would help, but because I'm not resetting days, I'm not at my best at the moment when it comes to progression. Normally I'd have way more achieved by now. I'd probably have a better pickaxe, I'd have a better weapon, I'd have more skill ups, I'd probably have more money. So we'll see how we get on. If we get lucky, maybe if we get a nice couple of drops, we can sell them and get some more cash, we might just jump in and get our feet wet. We made it down to floor 50, we picked up the tundra boots, we also picked up the wood mallet. This is a level 3 club, it's much better than that of the wood club. it swings way faster, and it does a lot more damage. This is going to make our lives way easier. We could probably use this wood mallet to clear the rest of the regular mines. It's that good of a weapon. It's that good. The ground pound, just like all other hammers, will make very short work of a lot of the enemies that you find in the regular mines. On floor 58, we also came across our very first diamond, which was really nice. That's going to give us 150 mining XP, plus the diamond, of course. We're going to sell the diamond for money, because money is something that we really need right now. I almost went down to floor 60, but I got caught out on the spiral floor. We got lots of skill ups today, including mining and combat, and Demetrius paid us a visit the next day to put in either the mushroom cave or the bat cave. I selected the mushroom because we're all about XP at the moment, and the mushrooms are really nice early on for energy and health. Later on, if we accumulate enough mushrooms, we might be able to get some life extras as well. Robin will make a fishing pond for us so we can put the legend inside it, and Clint is going to give us back our copper axe. We're going to use that to get rid of this stump up here. This will allow us to collect another prized ticket. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, we could sell the legend. That would definitely increase the odds of us unlocking the boss for the Desert Festival, but trust me on this, because we're going for perfection, because it's going to be a long challenge, you want to be putting that in the fish pond. See, when it comes to Stardew Valley, the trick to time management is having as many passive money makers as possible, and the fish ponds are the ultimate passive money makers. But because this is a perfection challenge, I don't have any restrictions. I can sell whatever I want, I can build whatever I want to build. So later on, we're probably going to see combinations of mushroom logs, bee houses, fish ponds, animals, you name it. There's going to be tons of passive money makers. Now, we done very well with the fishing today. We got lots of goodies in the treasure chests, and we also got the fishing skill of 9, almost 10, so we're getting there. We also picked up a new Book of Power along with 4 rubies. How lucky was that? The Book of Power is really nice. It's called Jewels of the Sea, and it will give a chance to get raw of the fish you just captured if you get a fishing treasure chest as well. We also pulled up some eels. And that is the first 10 days. Let me know how you feel about these perfection series. This one was pretty long in length, so I am thinking of kind of making it 20 minutes in length now instead of 10 and 13 minutes. So let me know how it goes. Thanks again everyone for watching. I do really appreciate you. Huge shout out to all my channel members. Stay tuned for the next 10 days and we'll keep going until we complete the first year. Bye for now everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful week.